it's not right for everybody. And why isn't it right for everybody? Not because the technology doesn't make sense in the future. It's super volatile, right? So we just had a Bitcoin drawdown. It was almost at $70,000 per Bitcoin. It dropped to, what was it?
Like
The last couple,
35,000, something like
maybe lower. I think
28,000.
Yeah, it can lose 60% of its value in a month or a week. It's super volatile. But we went back and we looked at some of the early tech companies like Tesla and Apple and Amazon and looked at their drawdowns. I think people would be surprised to know that some of these companies, Apple, Amazon, Microsoft, we'll put a chart up. They weathered drawdowns of over 75% in some cases. And sometimes I think it was Apple. I think it drew down 75% 4 times.
Wow.
Like,
That's incredible.
Just, you don't think about Apple as just this gigantic company.
Now, how old is Apple when this happens as a company?
I don't know.
Is that like a year in, 5 years in? Like at what point?
It was closer to IPO. Right. And that's how happens in every early adoption technology. If you look backwards, that it comes with volatility. And some people can't stomach it. And that means it's not right for you and shouldn't be a place in your portfolio. But if your risk tolerance is high enough, which we talked about in the last episode, this could be a place for this in the portfolio.
Yeah. And I understand you're comparing, Bitcoin to these companies, right? And I understand the drawdowns. You're comparing it on a basis of volatility, but I don't think it's quite apples to apples as far as these companies have, products and profits and consumers. So it's not an apples to apples comparison, but from a pure volatility standpoint, it's just understanding and trying to stomach that volatility in the early days can really pay off if you're able to kind of take that risk and take that, as we call it, leap of faith in the early days.
Yep.
But it is interesting.
It's kind of going off course here, but and I'll ask you the question. I think, excuse me, I think that we look back at technology that it's going to be like a comment that is going to come back to probably bite me, but I think young people are almost always right? Just follow what young people are doing. So I'll ask you, you're younger than I am, but what's the most popular social media site now?
It has to be TikTok.
Okay. But what was it 3 years ago or 2 years ago?
Easily Instagram, right? I think. Okay.
And then
I
2 years before that?
Yeah. Facebook, I don't know. Right? Yeah, because Facebook to Instagram to, I guess Twitter is in there somewhere, but Snapchat.
That's in 6 years. So technically, my point is young people will drive the next industries.
Yeah.
And this is one thing I recommend to folks. If we have clients that ask me, hey, my son or daughter is looking for a job, or they're just out of college, there's an outlet for not only to educate yourself from a crypto standpoint, but there's outlets for jobs too. So there's just so many jobs being filled in the crypto space. And I think that's where younger folks are flocking to. And they're flocking there for a reason, because usually young people pick the winners from a technology standpoint. It's just kind of been what it's always been.
Yeah.
So I'm out of that now because I'm not young enough, but I could talk about it, I guess.
Yeah, TikTok. I think Facebook just reported its first decline in, was it daily active users, at the expense of, and they're blaming TikTok for stealing their, user base.
Yeah, do you see that they were? I mean, they hired that company to kind of attack TikTok.
The consulting firm to.
Yeah.
I just read that this morning, actually, that they're putting out these different targeted news about TikTok, and obviously it's what, ByteDance, is that what it's called? China-based company. Anyway, yeah, they're putting out these different narratives in the news about why you should stay away from TikTok, and it's going to become a battle. I think what Mark Zuckerberg and now what's called Meta is really banking on is the metaverse, But just like NFTs, that's a conversation for a whole nother podcast.
We'll get there. That the metaverse is going to be built, I think, on top of blockchain technology. You're going to be paying for things in tokens, and that's kind of what this recent hack was. Yeah, but we'll talk about that again in the future. I think that's a good place to stop for crypto.
Yeah, I think I need to do some research before we discuss that one. Everybody, I mean, we're in such the early days of even discussing the metaverse, but it seems like companies are already moving in that direction, which is interesting.
Yeah, I don't know if I'd bet against Zuckerberg. I know no one likes him, right? But I don't know if I'd bet against him.
No one likes him, but I'm with you. Don't bet against that guy.
There's a reason he shifted the entire focus of the company. Yeah. That's why their financials, I think, weren't so great recently, as they poured so much money into the new concept of the metaverse, and lost some users, and then but you're going to lose users if you're shifting the entire focus of your company. That's a bold move. We'll see if it pays off. But there's a lot more money. Last thing I'll say about crypto, we'll put the chart up here too. This past week, so this would be the week of third week of March, right? For this year was the largest flow of venture capital to crypto or crypto adjacent companies. Wow. Decentralized finance companies, NFT projects. It was $1.5 billion in a week.
Yeah,
so it's just an immense amount of money going this direction. Young people are in it, and money's flowing that way.